Hey, what's up, you all? So I've never streamed before. I've done videos before for different things, but I've never streamed. It's something I want to try to do more in 2025. I don't want to be like a Twitch streamer, like personality, but I work all the time. I think probably since base launched, and I mean, I've always been this way, but just even taking base as an example, it launched like in February 2023. I haven't taken a day off, other than like the weekend. Um, but that's a lot of times I'm working on the weekend too. Um, I'm working all the time, and so it's just cool to I think this idea of building in public and just streaming when I'm working on, connecting with people. I know there's so many people out there that are online, building, hanging out in communities. Um, and so I'm not saying like that I working all the time, like it's a complaint. I'm saying it more like that we're all online doing this stuff together. It's kind of cool to be able to hang out. Otherwise, I'm just like sitting in a room by myself, hanging out on crypto Twitter or Discord or whatever. So, anyways, um, we'll try it out, see how it goes. If you have any feedback on how I can do this better or my setup, let me know. I'm learning from scratch. I've never, like I said, streamed before, but yeah, just gonna get to work with what I have in front of me right now on base. First off, like, what do I do on base? So originally, like, I'm a developer. I've been in this space since I guess about 2014. Started in, well, actually maybe 2013. Started in Bitcoin. That's how I got my first paid job in the space, was doing stuff in the Bitcoin community. I had worked like in Web 2 for a long time. I dropped out of college in 2004 to work on my first startup. And I'd wanted to, at that time, like in 2013, I was doing more like product management work, just like working with engineers about like how different platforms, web pages, and stuff like that, and apps can get tweaked to get um, you know better product market fit and stuff like that. Also, like bringing features and whatnot, like maintaining apps and stuff like that. Um, And so I wanted to get more into developing. I've always developed a bit, but I really wanted to focus more on like actively developing. And so I had joined like it was like a not a coding boot camp, but there was this company called ThoughtBot that was really well known. They're still well known in Web two, like a dev studio, and they had this program where you could like subscribe for, I think it was like, it was, to me, I still think it's expensive, but for what you got for it, it wasn't. But it was like, I think $200 a month, and then you get one of the, like a full-time developer working at Thoughtbot would mentor you. Um, and so uh, I signed up for it, and this actually, this person's name was George Brocklehurst, and I think he's still over at Thoughtbot, but really super talented person that I got connected with, and part of that were like, "What's your goals?" And so I was like, "I want to get more in development." And he was like, "Pick an open source project that you find interesting and just start contributing code to it." And so I've been hearing about this Bitcoin thing, and so I was just looking around the GitHub, and I saw that Bitcoin.org was on GitHub, and there was only just like a few people working on it. This was the website that Satoshi Nakamoto used to release Bitcoin Core software. And so I was like, wow, this is amazing. So, anyways, I got involved there. That's how I got my first job in the space, and yeah, ever since then I've been working in it. Now it's like, I guess, 12 years later. but yeah, so that brings me over to Base. Like in February, got involved in the community when Base launched. Was one of the first people in there. I think there was like a few hundred people the first day, and then saw that each day there's like, here's another 1,000, here's a few more 1,000. Like today, there's I think 425,000 people in the Base Discord. So it was growing really fast, and that's actually how I also got my job on the Base team. I was just really active in that community. I was one of the first hires to come in to the Base team after Base had launched at Coinbase. So anyways, and ever since then, it's been me working community. I'm also on the developer relations team, so I work with builders. I run our hackathons, manage our open source repos, and other stuff like that. So, um, anyways, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna dive into different stuff. If you have any questions, like just let me know. I'll answer it in the. I'll keep an eye on the chat. And yeah, if you're hanging out, watching me, thanks for sharing some time, stopping by. Let me know any feedback on stuff that maybe I could do differently if you see me doing something wrong. Yeah, but anyways, I appreciate it. I see that Escort messaged me and said, any new unique development updates for us? Yeah, actually, I think on the development side, um, let me go ahead and share my screen for a moment over on X. Jesse just posted the other day, actually yesterday, the big, hairy, audacious goals for 2025 for Base and the Base team, particularly like there's Jesse right there. That's pretty getting his head shaved.
There we go.
Yeah, I got to stop for a second.
Wow.
That's so funny.
Hello, everybody.
You hadn't seen this, definitely check it out
on
his X
I am super
account. It's a long time coming. It's a really interesting story with Jesse and him saying he's going to shave his head. I'm not going to go tell the whole story because it's not going to be as good as he told it yesterday when he was shaving his head. But definitely check that out. So back to that question though, Jesse was saying just yesterday, actually a few hours ago, big, hairy, audacious goals for 2025. So if you're new, just popping in here, Escort was asking any new unique development updates for us. So direct answer to that, like by the end of 2025, we're pushing really hard for 25 million people using Base, 25,000 builders building actively on Base, 250 MGAS throughput. This is basically with regard to the gas limit. So if you follow me, follow Base, we're talking about raising the gas limit pretty much each week. And what that is like, if you think about a computer, it's got like a memory limit of what you can do at one time. For Ethereum, the Ethereum virtual machine, which runs Ethereum applications, executes smart contracts and stuff, it's got the same type of memory limit. And so that's hard coded, it's fixed into the protocol. And so Base being built on top of Ethereum, we can change that, we can increase it. And so by increasing that limit, it enables us to include more transactions each block. So like every 2 seconds on Base, there's a new block with like all the transactions, people sending money to each other, people using applications, stuff like that. So increasing that limit allows us to fit more in the block. And what that also does is it keeps fees down. It's like really cheap to do things on Base. It's since you're sending USDC, you're sending ETH, it's basically free. It's like fractions of a cent. And so if we weren't raising the gas limit, what would happen is as more people are using Base, there becomes more competition for getting a transaction in the next block. And what facilitates the number and order of those transactions is the fee that gets paid. So if we weren't raising the gas limit, Base is like at an all-time high right now, number of users, number of transactions and stuff like that, fees would go up. So we have to raise the gas limit so that more transactions can happen in each block. And so 250 is a really big goal here. We're at like, I think, 20 or 21 right now. I think actually it's 20. And so that's just like an exponential increase from where we're at. Um, that'll also be like, it's never been done anywhere before uh, in the Ethereum ecosystem. So it's a really ambitious scaling goal here. And then 100 billion in assets, like to facilitate that, we have to develop one of the best platforms for people to launch apps. And so like right now, I think the amount of assets is right around like 14 billion. So these are just like really, really ambitious goals. And we feel really excited and enthused that that's possible because we did this same thing last year. We started with basically hardly like very low, like I think it was like right around a billion in assets. We went from like 1 billion to 14 billion in a year. And so anyways, yeah, to answer that question, that's like our unique development updates. I think Jesse said it best there. Also, I think trying to support builders better, creators as well. Creators are builders. Really, creating is something that anybody um, can do. Like if you use Instagram, if you're posting on Facebook or X, like you're creating. And so in the new internet, like as we talk about a new internet that's open to all, you're actually creating with incentives for doing so. Like you make something that people engage with that can have a potential economic return to you. And so when Jesse says like we're making an internet, by the people for the people, we're taking control of like these very centralized platforms where millions of people around the world, tens of millions of people around the world are producing content that really is just like filling the coffers of big companies like megacorps and redistributing that to decentralized platforms, an open internet where you're posting, art, photos, making music, you're writing, creating memes, like that has an economic return for you. And so that's like our big secret plan. And it's not like a secret. That's what we're all working for together here. A couple other questions, and then I'm going to dive in and do a little bit of work. Let's see. BGBIS said, "What do you think about TYBG?" I think it's just such a cool project, super cool community. If y'all aren't familiar with TYBG, it stands for Thank You Base God. And so if you get on X and just use the search box and just type in TYBG, you're gonna see like how big that community is. Super positive community, and so I think it's really cool. Taylor was asking how many people in builders are currently on Base. It's like so people, it's in the millions. Builders, I think it's in the very. I don't have the exact number. I'm guessing from my work, like working in the Base Discord community, I would say like part-time developers, like people not driving like 100% of their income. It's like tens and tens and tens of thousands. Very large number. What we're trying to do is set it up, however, like when Jesse says like 25,000 builders is like a big, hairy, audacious goal. Like we want to allow people that want to make the jump to come full time into building on chain, building apps that are open to everybody. We want to lay the rails so that they can come in full time and do that. And so that's where that comes from. But All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch gears here. Like, so today I need to go into our GitHub. One of the things that I do with my work is I manage our open source repos. So I'm gonna go ahead and also share my tabs. So this is Base's GitHub landing page. So it's got like all of our repositories on here. I think we have like it's something like 40, 45 open source repositories. And so a big part of Base is building in the open, like our code being open. Our goal is just to try to decentralize really everything under the sun that we can. And so this is the first place, like if you're interested in that, like this is actually how I got started in this space, was contributing to open source. So if you're trying to get into this space, coming over to like our GitHub page, or even like on base.org/ecosystem, like these are like hundreds of apps that are all built on Base. A whole bunch of these, the majority of them all also have like open source code bases and stuff like that. So if you're a developer, like you can get involved. It's a great way to get your foot in the door to like a full-time um, opportunity. So coming back over to ours here. So today I need to go into our web repository. And so like what this is the code base for base.org. This is all of the, if you go to do stuff with base names, if you go to that ecosystem page that I was just showing, if you're going over to docs.base.org, like all of that is here on this repository. And so repository is like the technical term for on GitHub where code goes. And so here we get regular like contributions from people that we're all building Base together. And so I'm one of the maintainers that goes in and reviews those contributions to like see, okay, can we bring this in? Do we need to get somebody else to look at it too? Stuff like that. And so there's two ways that you can contribute to base.org on GitHub. One is with issues. And so like anybody watching this right now, you can create an issue. And so like that's basically like I noticed something about base.org that I think can be done better. And you see like we have these different categories we set up to log that. And so it's a great way to open up dialogue and discussion so that not only like people on the base core team can give feedback, but other people in the community too. And so like this has been happening for ages in Web 2. And it also happens on chain in Web 3, like where all these different projects have their own dialogues and interactions that lead to code changes. And so I'm just going to start here. Like these are old ones that I've already gone through. I have this labeling system that I use that I've created for our GitHub, and it's pretty simple. But like, so I use base docs review, meaning that like there's a our core team of people on the developer relations team that reviews docs contributions. So I'll use that label for that. Ecosystem is we often get projects, and you'll see as I start going through this that want to add themselves to the ecosystem page, base.org/apps. And so we have a team. I also work on that team that reviews that. Translations, we're going to be expanding base.org, so it's available in multiple languages already. It's to expand it into multiple languages, and we're already starting to get like contributions in that regard. And then the last significant one is just base web review. If it's like a technical change that's really retooling a significant part of base.org, we also have a team, core team at Base that like reviews those changes. So like what I'll do is I'll go through and triage this where I can, like label it on those And then for ones that I can assist with, I'll go ahead and knock it out. If it's something that like, oh, we're gonna have a conversation about, multiple people should be taking a look at this. Um, we'll typically use like this label. So all right, I'm going to dive in first on the issues. These actually aren't code changes. They're just like different topics that people are bringing up that they want to talk about in relation to base.org. And like I said, there's different like categories of issues that you can open. And so before I do that, let me just double check to see if anybody had any questions. So no other questions right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. So I've already labeled these from like over the holidays. I'm going to go straight into these three here. So we got a docs request from B. Haney. I'm not going to read it out loud to you because I know y'all can read, but let's see. Okay, so this person wants to build an app, like, well, is working on some type of script or app where they can send transactions. The good news here is that we actually do have what this person's looking for in our docs. And so I'm going to go ahead and switch to docs.base.org. So B. Haney was saying like they want to use something like Ethers, which is a SDK that lets you like software development kit that lets you programmatically send transactions without having to like click through MetaMask or Coinbase Wallet, Smart Wallet. You can do it from the code level, and so I feel like maybe that got missed in our docs when B. Haney was looking through it. And so he was saying, or they were saying, we have ethers. Do you have ethers? And so, yeah, it's right here. I'm just going to go ahead and share this link in that issue and then close the issue. And so I'll go in here. And I'm not sure what this is. We use get over Twitter. This looks like some type of spam comment that I don't know where that's coming from because that's not in this conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and let B. Haney know here that, hey, not sure about that last message where you were quoting the live chat part. Fix that. All right. I'm just going to double check that that's what B. Haney was saying. And then he was saying that he or she, not sure, was having trouble connecting Guild, which is like we use this tool called guild.xyz, where if you're in the base Discord, you can connect here. It's guild.xyz/base. And what that does is like if you connect your wallet, you get access to special channels and stuff like that where you can chat. And the reason for that is like it keeps spammers out and stuff like that. People just sending like low quality messages, shilling and stuff like that, so that people can actually have like helpful conversations without a bunch of noise. And so B. Haney was saying that he or she was having a problem doing that because of their inability to connect. So I'm just gonna say, which this person doesn't already know, for connecting to Discord, you don't have to use Guild. You can also just connect your GitHub account. Yeah, and so I think that'll be everything Dehaney needs. So we'll go ahead and close that. All right, next one that we're going to go through is, so we got a docs request on here for base. All right, so this looks like spam. Very good. So we'll just say very good. Shake hands. All right. What else is next? Bug wallet connect is broken on base.org. So this one, after connecting to wall connect, there are JavaScript console errors. Interesting. Okay. See, this is spam right here. So this is a person trying to come into the GitHub and trick somebody with like a phishing link. And so what we're going to do is delete that content. Oh, first I'm going to report it to GitHub. So you see this like sometimes what happens in particularly in crypto, because like everybody's like hanging out with like a wallet connected to their computer, their phones, got like all types of different possibilities for like a attacker to try to swipe their funds. Is you'll see like in the base community, it happens in all communities, unfortunately, is somebody will have a question and like, hey, my transaction's failing, or whatever the question is. And like a scammer will sit and lie in wait uh, for a person to ask a question, and then they'll try to reply and say, hey, I can help you, go here. And on that website, they'll try to like get them to connect a wallet to try to steal their funds. And so I'm just gonna put spamming phishing. Yeah, there we go. And I'm gonna put user as phishing contributors. So we'll do the captcha here. Sometimes I feel like I'm so dumb. I don't know what this thing's saying. Use the arrows to rotate the object. This is probably like I'm gonna fail this captcha, and then this is also gonna be my last stream on base because I get fired for being dumb. So just kidding. All right, there we go. So we're gonna go ahead and submit that, and then we're gonna delete that comment from that person. Okay. And so for this one, it looks like, oh, wow, it's just like all kinds of, it's one of the tricky parts of like having something that people use on chain. Like if you're a builder and you make something, it's like as soon as scammers realize that, they come along and try to fuck with your users being blatantly about it. It's just like, part of the thing that's like really frustrating here is that like this type of economy of scamming is also perpetuated by a world where large groups of people are disenfranchised, where people are born in places because where there's like absolutely no opportunity, there's no jobs in their town, and so like they through this path of life end up in situations where, oh, scamming is like the way that I can get a better um, life and stuff like that. And so like it's actually an opportunity for us to build something better, where if what if people, regardless of where they were born, could be able to still work from their town where there previously wasn't like any type of opportunity, where they can get online and they can contribute and they can actually earn income like doing positive things instead of trying to find ways to scam and steal from people in the other parts of the world that, because of where the other people are, have opportunities that they didn't have. So I think about that, like when I've been in the space for such a long time. There's scamming. Even it happens outside of like on chain, like in Web 2, like just scamming. It's as old as time, but like a lot of that comes from one side of the world, like just being in such shitty conditions that that's like, by some reason or another, people feel like that's the only opportunity in front of them. So, um, anyways, all right. So we see that this wallet connect here. So this one will want to, as I was talking about the labels before, we'll want to get this over to, in particular, the web team. So I'm just going to thank this person for bringing it up. One of the engineers, and then also when I say one of the engineers, somebody that's a lead on the core web team will take a look at this. But also, since this code base is open to everyone, this is also like an opportunity. If like you're a developer, you're looking for ways to like contribute, get more involved in the base ecosystem, like you could come in here, and if you know the solution, you could post this is like a PR to solve this problem. It looks like there's already a person that has started to go in and do that. And why would you do that? Well, first off, it's going to get you more exposure in the base ecosystem. It's going to get you more interactions with like the base core team, other core builders that like are part of like the most used apps and stuff like that are going to start to see you if you're getting involved in their code bases. And that's one of the best ways to like make a good impression and get like new paid opportunities and stuff like that. That's how I've gotten a lot of my opportunities in the space, is just spending time to contribute like regularly. And people are like, oh yeah, Will, I know he was doing this, he was doing that. Like, yeah, let's hire Will. So actually, I was saying earlier, I've been in this space for since late 2013. It's about like 12 years. There's only been there's actually only been 5 times in the last 12 years where I've actually met people that I work with face to face in real life and actually shook their hand. The the rest of the time is just working online like I am right now with you all. And I don't have like any special like, oh, it's because Will knows so and so, or oh, he must have like a whole bunch of crypto. He's rich. He can just spend this time messing around. Like it's actually the complete opposite. Like I work and had to figure out how to pay bills and stuff like that, and I have a family to take care of, and for yeah, like 12 years, I've figured out. I mean, it's basically just like hustling, like figuring out what am I going to work on today? How am I going to get a project to work on? Of course, I've been working on base for almost 2 years now, full time. But there's been long periods where like I don't have any work, and um, it's just, I think creating a positive change, networking with people, and showing how you can fix things like in this aspect that opens doors for you. And so if I can do it, it's not because I'm like smart. Like I said, it's not because I know anybody. Like y'all definitely can do it too. Like it's absolutely no bullshit. The hardest part why a lot of people can't and won't do this is a lot of people don't want to put in the time and effort to do it. It's kind of like going to the gym. Like people are like, you ask somebody like, hey, do you wanna be in shape? Like, do you wanna look strong and look fit? Like people are like, yeah, sure. Hey, you wanna work in crypto? Like, do you wanna work on base? Like, yeah, sure. But not that many people actually wanna spend the time to go to the gym every day. And there's a lot of times in the gym where there's nobody around. Like and you feel like not any progress is happening, and stuff like that. And so, um, like somebody said to me the other day, they were like, "Oh, you're such a positive person." I try to be really positive, and um, especially like externally with people, really try to go the extra effort to be positive. But internally, I get so negative. Um, with myself, and I'm constantly like, it's like a issue for me. Like, and so, um, I don't want to paint a rosy picture. Like, oh, look, he's so positive. It's all, sunshine and rainbows. It's hard doing this, and that's why a lot of people don't. Like I said, they don't want to put in the effort every day. But the people that do, 100%, the doors will open for them, and the doors will open for you too. Like whatever you're doing, if you're building something, if you're creating something, you want to be part of the community. If you're not like a technical builder, there's lots of non-technical uh, things you can get involved in, like community management and stuff like that. So anyways, back to this. I'm going to thank Mr. Domino. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing this, for opening this issue, confirming this is in our backlog, pending to be reviewed. So like this sounds kind of corporate-y. What does this mean? So if you're in like working in a tech space, you've probably seen the word backlog before, but like essentially in when you're working on platforms and stuff like that, you have like a backlog of things, like kind of like your to-do list that you want to get to. And so with this base core web team, when I put this in this label, that means that open source contributor could come in and like we have this one over here. They might have already fixed it, but we also want to make sure that like if there's problems where somebody like in the open source community hadn't gotten to it yet, somebody on the base core team is going to look at it too. And so this puts it in that backlog to make sure that it gets the time and attention it needs. And so, all right, continuing here, that knocks out the issues that were pending here. We can see that there's actually pull requests for some of these. So, all right, I'm going to switch over to pull requests now. And let's see, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. I'm just going to switch back over to see if there's any questions. Didn't see any questions. All right, so I'm going to get back to GitHub. And where was I at? Yeah. So we have a bunch of different pull requests to get to looking at together in here. I've gone through a bunch of these over the course of the holidays, and like you can see where I've like already labeled them. I'm gonna get back to those probably um, at some point today, but I'm also gonna make sure that like the new ones that have come in, particularly like since uh, particularly like New Year's and stuff like that, like they're getting checked out. And so starting here, we have this person is trying to add Block AI to the ecosystem page. And so we're just going to take a look at the code change there. So it's Block AI combines blockchain and AI to offer decentralized access to innovative tools. So I'm going to check to make sure that Block AI isn't already part of the ecosystem page. But you can see where this builder, Christoph, added their logo, has the category. They're like an infra app. It's an AI app subcategory that in our infra parent category. So then I'm going to take a look at this page just to see what Block AI is. Looks like they got a landing page here. So yeah, it looks good. Like we don't Base is open to everyone. Anybody can build on top of Base. We have certain types of apps that have to get looked at additionally because of like where base.org is based, like in the US, as there's different rules, legal and compliance type stuff. But here I'm going back to our GitHub repo, and you can see like if you're building something and you want to update it, this is our README. for this code repository. Here's how you can add it to the ecosystem page. So this builder chose that infra category. They chose that it was a AI app, and then they put everything in here. We also have like some submission requirements, and like I said, like we can't do things like TGEs, ICOs, airdrops, and stuff like that. So those types of apps we just can't put on. Some DeFi type apps, like depending on the context, have to get additional review. But like this one looks good. So we should be able to bring this like right in. So I'm going to go back to Christoph's PR here, pull request. PR is short for pull request. Just double check. I'm going to make sure that the we have this thing called CI, like continuous integration. And what that is, we have like these code checks that will run that will make sure that like, hey, for what Christoph's bringing in, does it break anything, like, etc. It's kind of like automatic check to make sure that like this isn't gonna break base.org. And so I just started those tests, well, unit tests, which are part of continuous integration. And so with that going on, I'm just going to go ahead and approve this pull request to add block AI to the base.org ecosystem page. So I'm just going to approve it and tell Christoph here. I actually have this is an action that I do a lot. I talk to like thousands of people a week. And so I often have to type things over and over again. And so like ideally I would like to just be able to just type conversation. Like anyway, it actually takes a lot of time away to write a message every time when you're talking to thousands of people every week. And so I have a macro for this. And so I use a thing called Raycast. So what I did is I just typed in !RTB. That's like the shortcut for my macro. And it makes it say, thanks for building on base. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to approve it. And so what this is going to do now is I get like a notification to, it's like kind of like second factor notification to approve this. And that's like, so this is like an extra form of security. So I just approved that. And I'm going to go ahead and enable auto merge here on this pull request so that if these tests pass, like you get these green check marks, it'll come in automatically and go live on base.org. And so this one has an X next to it for Vercel, because Vercel is like sorry if people already know this, but for people that are watching that don't know, it's like a platform that like hosts and serves your website. And so we have a tool if we wanted to, where if I wanted to view base.org before this change comes in, like kind of like a preview site, I could do that on Vercel. And since I'm not doing that, it's giving me an X, but I don't need to do that because I've done this a whole bunch before. And I know that if there's a problem with this change, it's going to fail the CI that I just talked about, those tests. So that format looks good. If it's wrong, the test is going to catch it, and it won't come into the code base. So, all right. I'm going to come back in here to the next ones while I'm doing that, just in case I'm boring the hell out of y'all. I'm going to check. I see that Francis, gave me that pull request for the one that I was talking about before. Thanks, Francis. Let's see here. Coming back into that one, now it says that fixed typos and minor improvements in the Fleek deployment tutorial. So we have, this one's talking about on docs.base.org. We have a tutorial for Fleek, which is kind of like Vercel, but it's more Web3 focused. So like I was talking about Vercel as a way to, it's like a platform to serve your websites on, web apps on. Fleek is like Vercel. It's a platform that is tailored to serving Web3 focused websites and apps on. So looks like this is a pretty straightforward one. Correcting grammatical errors. Yeah, updating the markdown links. So yeah, that looks really straightforward. Gonna take a look at the code change now to see. Yeah, so there's a double space right here. The ZVic, the open source contributors fixing. And then yeah, just a typo. Once you are connected, ZVic fixing it to once you are. So this is like a really straightforward change. We can also just bring this in pretty simply. So I'm just gonna say I have another macro for these types of changes. And so that's reason I use that is because I talk to so many people a day to type it out every time. Those like seconds add up to minutes, which add up to like half an hour. And that's like half an hour that I could have focused on something that's trying to help a bunch of people. And so like in this case, we're going through GitHub. People are reading a tutorial. They start seeing typos and stuff like that. Like, oh, who wrote this? Do they know what they're talking about? You know, just like little rusty, like polish type things. So we're going to go ahead and approve this. This is going to also pretty much be ready to come in. I'm going to get my second factor on my phone to approve it. Looks good. That's going to change that to green right in front of us. And then I'm going to squash and merge. That means, boom, this is going to come straight in and that page is fixed now, thanks to ZVic. We see a lot of these types of code contributions where people are just coming in and fixing typos, making minor improvements. And I think it's really good that people do that. One, it's helps you, like if you're interested in it, get more of a familiarity with like the code base. Like this is part of the code base that is text on the page. The surrounding part is code that renders that text. It's a great way to like get more familiar with where things are to then make more significant changes. And then again, it's like just getting more involved in the community, I think, is a great way to network. And so, like right now, for example, on the base Discord, there's probably like, actually, let's just check. If I go to base.org/Discord, there's 23,000 people online. So it's like sometimes hard to keep track of like who else who in there just because there's so many people. And but when I'm working in like GitHub and stuff like that, and I see these names like ZVic, for example, and then I'm in a Discord, I'm like, oh, that's ZVic. I remember ZVic fixed the Fleek deployment tutorial. And so like for you, if you're interested, like trying to get more connected in the space, it doesn't even have to be on base.org. It can be like pick your favorite project on the base.org/ecosystem page. Go into their code repository, and the same thing 100% is going to happen. They're going to be like, oh, this is so and so. Yeah, they fixed that on our website. And you know, sometimes you might do that, and like just because like everybody's in this community doesn't mean that they're still not like assholes and stuff like that. You might spend time fixing something, and somebody might not even say thank you, or somebody might just even be like, oh, you're just fixing a typo. Like we don't care. Okay, whatever. Like there's lots of people on this planet. There's lots of groups, and if you get that type of experience with a group, that only means that that group's just not your group. Like just move on and go to the next one. I can't even count how many times like I've gotten involved with different communities and like run into somebody that was like being a jerk. I like in my career being in this space, like I've worked with like all kinds of like different companies, like, and so this is my personal website, but like I've been all over the place, like working with different companies, and I can't even count though how many times like I've had to um, work with somebody that's being a jerk when I'm trying to just spend my time to be helpful. So that happens to you, like just don't even sweat it. Like it's actually their problem. It's not your problem. Like that they, um, feel like that's the way that they want to have their day. You can just move on with yours. Okay, so this one is updating main.yml. So this is uh, trying to update the checkout version for our GitHub workflow. This one's more like a design decision. Do we want to be using GitHub Actions checkout version 3 instead of version 1? Version 1 is working for us right now. I'm actually just going to defer this one over to our base web team. And I was just kind of pausing because I was thinking like, you know, maybe it would be worth asking this person why they recommend V3 over V1. So I'm just gonna, I'm sorry, I was just kind of thinking about like what I want to say here. I'm just gonna say thanks for this PR. It's a similar text like I was writing from before. I need to create actually a macro for this. This is in our backlog, pending to be reviewed. Also, if you have time, could you please share why you recommend V3 versus V1? So that way, like when somebody does come in, we can see that actually there's maybe no material change. It's not that much different, or actually it's whatever number of things, like we should do it. So I'm just going to kind of prompt that for when somebody comes in later on this. And then we're going to move on to the next one. We have grammar and additional context description. The description for the other field could be reworded slightly for clarity and to avoid an awkward sentence structure. So this looks like just another kind of typo. So add any other content about the concern. I mean, I think this is kind of like I'm from the southern United States, and we have this saying like tomato, tomato. Actually, I think it's actually originated from the Northeast, but we used to say it in the southern United States too. Um, and so I think it's just basically preference. But this person spent this time going through. Uh, I don't think it's a big material change. So rather than being like, well, actually, we can do it this other, we're just going to leave it as is. Sometimes, it makes sense to do that, depending on like they're changing like 50 different web pages. They spend a lot of time about it, like trying to be mindful about and supportive of bringing the change in. But sometimes you gotta like, uh, you know, decide, is this a material change that we should actually bring in? I don't think there's a big um, issue here with this. It's just pretty straightforward. We're going to word it differently. That's a little bit more helpful. So I'm going to start the tests again. We can see that this was just a text change. So that green is denoting what got updated. I'm going to check that off since I just looked at it. We're going to approve it. And I'm going to tell Rufus, thank you. And again, I'm using this macro just so I don't have to type this a whole bunch of times every day. All right, gonna wait for my multi-factor here to approve this. And this one's done too. Yeah, so I think I'll probably stream for, I mean, I don't know, like it looks like y'all are still hanging out. Like, I don't know if I'm boring the hell out of y'all or not, but I can keep going. and maybe I'll break for lunch in a little bit. But I'm gonna keep just sailing through these PRs. So if you have any questions, feel free to write them. Let me know if you have any also like any things you want me to talk about while I'm doing this. Happy to do that. Or if you want to roast me or tell me how much better my stream could be if I wasn't doing this, that's good too. This is my first time doing it, so thanks for hanging out with me. This is normally like what I do pretty much all day. Like I usually start working and I'm based in Portugal in the Azores. So it's like in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And so here right now it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I usually start work around 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll I'll stop. I'll stop to eat. Usually around like 1. I'm kind of weird. Like I don't eat except for like twice a day. I eat like basically lunch around 1, and then I'll eat dinner like around 7. And so, anyways, I'll take a break for lunch, take a break for dinner. I usually take like for each of those about 30 minutes. Then I'll take about 2 hours off late in the day if I need to go to like the grocery store or like post office or something like that. And then I'll work though from usually about 9 in the morning, taking those breaks, and then I'll go to about like usually about like 12 or 1 o'clock at night. And I don't say that as a complaint. I love what I'm working on. Like if I wasn't working on bass, I'd be doing the same thing with some. I just love being in the space. I love getting to do what I do. Like this, I think this like this community. These are like my friends. Even though like you all we haven't met before, but we're like here every day, spending parts of our lives like on X in different Discord communities. Like we're seeing these stories like unfold. We're all part of like history that's being made right now. And that sounds cheesy, but it's also true. Like we're like, I think all of us can look back, and if you've been in the space for more than maybe not even a month, uh, at least like a couple weeks, we can look at anything recent and be like, I was there for this, I was there for that. We all have our own, you know, tie and relationship together in that. And I think that's like something that, regardless of like our differences and where we are in the world and skin colors, like I think it's so cool. Like in the space where all these different avatars, there's nothing like different political parties, no different genders. No, you're in this country, I'm in that country. We're all just like part of this one open country, and I think that's like something that all of us can build a friendship on. So, anyways, less cheese, more work. I'll just get back in here now. What was I looking at? All right, so we got that running on the additional description. I need to add the label there. So that's coming in. It looks like Valora here is another ecosystem addition. And what is going on? We're going to see Valora is a mobile app that makes crypto simple and accessible for all. So it's like a self-custody wallet. So these ones, like for example, like a wallet, it's going to be holding different people's funds and stuff like that. That one will won't just be like a basic review. It has like more of a review process alongside it. But we'll just take a quick look at Valora. Cool. I haven't used this before. My main wallets that I've used, I originally was using MetaMask for like a long time for like a hot wallet. But then I switched to Coinbase wallet, not just because like I work at Coinbase. I'm like, doing things on Base for the last couple years. I really like using um, Coinbase wallet. My things I don't like about Coinbase wallet is it's actually not available like on Firefox, for example. I like the Firefox browser. You can't use Coinbase Wallet with it, but these days I also feel like Firefox has kind of tapered down a bit on how innovative it is, and it's not like the as much of the Firefox that I used to um, enjoy. So I've been using Chrome more. But if Coinbase Wallet was available in Firefox, I would just probably use Firefox full time. So I'm just going to tell Silas here that open this pull request. I'm just going to say, hey, thanks, confirming this is in our backlog pending to be reviewed, because it's got to get looked at more closely. Actually, I really need to create a macro for this, so I'm not typing this over. All right, we'll just leave it like that. I put the ecosystem label on it. Now we're to the first page of ones that have come in since New Year's. Generally, like we're catching up from we have this thing called like we basically took some time off, like part of the core base team around Christmas and New Year's. I was still working, but I had a lot of just like end of year stuff that I wanted to catch up on. So I used that like an opportunity to do that. And part of my daily stuff, like this, got backed up a bit. So you can see like I have stuff from like the last 4 or 5 days, last 7 days. So generally, like I'll check this every day, and it's like more dialed in. So y'all are hanging out with me like while I'm catching this up, making sure these people have different responses, and then like in general for these things that like are pending on these different pages, when you see those labels, like those get you generally cleaned out about like once a week from like the other core teams that are like looking at it. Some things stay open for longer if it's like a debatable change, or there's other like considerations we really want to do it this way type stuff. So that's why there are multiple pages of this. So the node file, like, okay, I think this is, yeah, just changing we have this like file size checker on base.org. This is kind of an interesting story. So like when, well, I guess it's kind of like a geek story. I think it's interesting, but so we had the ecosystem page, base.org/ecosystem. And so when you make like a pull request, when you're trying to add your app to this page, you add a graphic. And similarly, like on docs.base.org, when like we're creating like a tutorial or something like that, we can add like graphics. And so what happened is this person that we work with made a tutorial showing how to do something with this video, and it's like, I think actually, yeah, and they did like in that they were trying to put like a is it, I say GIF, I don't know, we're gonna start World War III, but like GIF, but GIF in the tutorial that showed like, oh, I'm dragging my mouse over to do this and this and this. And then what happened was is like the GIF that they put in uh was like gigantic. I think it was like 770 like megabytes or something like that. And what that did was it got brought into the code base, it got merged. And that big file in there was almost like trying to flush a rock down a toilet or something like that. It went into the deployment pipeline, and just like all of this stuff broke. And so I was like, what in the hell is going on? This, like, everything's broken. And so anyways, we found out this really talented other both these people are super talented. It wasn't like I'm not saying like that in that aspect at all, but this other talented person was taking a look at it. We're trying to figure out what's going on, and like, there's this gigantic file that just got added for this GIF. it just broke everything. And so that's when we made the never again hashtag. No, that's when this is a test, like this checker, that whenever somebody's changing the code now on base.org, you cannot add gigantic files that are going to break everything like that file did. So that's what this file size checker file is. And so this person is trying to make a change to that. I'm just going to leave it to our web team to take a look at this later, but I'm going to thank this person for spending the time to put together this pull request. Actually, I'm just going to have to create this macro right now, because like anybody that I work with that uses macros that has seen me write this like 3 times, and I'm sure y'all too that use macros, probably every time I do this, y'all probably just like, I think I hear somebody screaming at me right now, like just create the effing macro, Will. So all right, I'm creating the macro. Y'all can't see my screen, but I'm gonna call this uh, confirming backlog. I'm going to put thanks for this PR, confirming this is in our backlog, pending to be reviewed. All right. And then the shortcut is going to be exclamation R, thanks confirming backlog. All right, let's see. Search snippets. All right, let's see. Just going to double check that I did this right. Yeah. All right, let's see if this works now so that I RT key. Nope. I have to, it's because I have another snippet that uses, I tried to make the thing, the shortcut for writing it, exclamation RTCB, like thanks confirming backlog. I'm just going to do, I'm just going to name it R backlog. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So you can see that brought that in and wrote it for me now. Make sure that I wrote that right. Moopseed, yep. And then I still need to fix that snippet one more time because it's, I can make it shorter. I'm just going to put R back. So I'm just going to put R log, B log. All right. Anyways, moving on. I'm going to check. Did anybody ask any questions? I see Evan. Okay. So here's Evan. I work with Evan. He's saying LFB. So yeah, Evan and I, we work together on base. Evan Slats is Slats at base. It's his first name's Evan. Slats is in the base Discord. If you go over to base.org/Discord, you'll see Slats in there every day of the week. And so we've been working together for like, I guess, maybe at least a year and a half. But Slats is great. And then I see Bet Swirl is, hey, good morning. What's this stream about? Hopefully it's not about everybody wasting a bunch of time watching Will work. But this is the first time I've streamed before. I record videos sometimes, like just about different things. But one of my goals in 2025 is I'd like to just like I work pretty much all the time. Not saying that like negatively. I love my work, but I'm usually just sitting in a room by myself doing this. And so I feel like why not just start streaming it and just I mean, hang out with you all. I feel like all of us are already on X anyways, or these other places, and so anyways, if you want to hang out, like feel free to hang out. If you have any feedback, if you want to roast me, make fun of me, um, for the entertainment of others that are hanging out, that's cool too. Uh, but yeah, I'm just doing some of my work, chilling. Right now, I'm going through uh, GitHub. Um, and going through some of our open source contributions where people are updating base.org with different things. And Beth Swirl saying, that sounds amazing as long as you don't have ADHD. I actually do have ADD. Well, actually, there's also a conspiracy theory that there's no such thing as ADD. It's like a rabbit hole you can go down. Anyways, we won't get into that. There'll be no tinfoil hat wearing today. Just kidding. But yeah, I'll try to stay on track. But if I start streaming long enough for enough days, I can't promise that's not going to happen. But anyways, yeah, if you have questions or anything, feel free to just let me know. Feedback for what I can do better. If you want to know stories about anything, you want to ask me, really anything's open. Like I'm an open book. So I'm just sitting here working and streaming. Um, Anybody that wants to hang out, it's free to hang out. Let me get back over here though to this file size checker. We need to add the label for the web team to review. Again, for people that are watching this, I'm going through base.org. For some of these, like these are open source contributions, we can bring them straight into the site, like people making base.org better. Anybody in the world can do that. Other ones, like we have like a core team of folks that will look at like different types of changes. We have a web team, we have a developer relations team for docs, we have an ecosystem team that looks like it when people want to add their apps to base.org, translation team. So like for ones we can't bring in right away, we'll give it the label so that at least like once a week, somebody from that core team is taking a look. But this by no means is like just centralized, and since that like a core team has to do it, anybody can go here and like, hey, I checked this out. This looks good, or this I think should be changed. Like open source is there for everybody, but not everybody has time to like do this every week. So at the very least, we have a core team that's coming in to do it. In the future, I think probably less and less. There will be like core teams doing things for stuff like this. It's actually going to be the community that does it, and then we'll have things like we already do, but more things like grants and whatnot that, hey, you spend some time like going through making base.org better. Here's some ETH, here's some USDC, here's some EURC, like just stuff like that, trying to like set it up to where you want to contribute, like you're going to also earn. So that's also like a goal for 2025 is like more of that. So we have a little bit more here to go through. I think about like 20. Check in. Tyran TX is adding Sensei to the apps page. Looks like it is an AI app. Sensei's cutting edge technology creates lifelike digital replicas, offering limitless potential for everyone in the digital age. Interesting. So we're gonna just take a quick look here at Sensei, and looks like I've never used this before. I'm not familiar with it, so I think I'll clarify to this builder. Hey, can you share more details about how this is live on base? Like, it's clear there's a token here, but what's unclear to me is like, see, we can get the token, we can stake the token, but it's unclear like how do you use let's try it now. It's unclear to me like, so if you're like a user, you're going to base.org/ecosystem, you want to set this up so that people that you're trying to find more apps to use, when you click on these, you want to be connected with something that you can jump in and start using. Kind of like if you're in the App Store, you download something, you're going to start using it right away as soon as the installation is complete on your iPhone or from the Play Store on your Android phone. So I'm just going to ask this person, like, what's going on here with, can you share more details about what parts of Sensei are live and usable on base for base.org users. So get that. Also, this person has a looks like a conflicting file. Like what this means is that when this file, the ecosystem JSON file gets updated, like this ecosystem.json file is what stores all apps that are on base.org. And so like when you add a new app, depending on how that gets added, if somebody else has a pull request like this person, there'll be like a conflict where GitHub's saying, hey, I see 2 changes to this file. Which one should supersede the other? So like this person needs to go in and update theirs because it's being preceded rather by a code change that's already occurred. So they need to update this. So I'm going to say to TyranTX, thanks for this PR. Can you please rebase is what it's called in developer speak, to resolve the merge conflict, and could you also share more details about what parts of Sensei are live and on-chain on base that base.org users, for base.org users to use? That sounds weird. That base.org users can use. I don't like how that sounds, but sometimes I just can't write stuff right. All right, on-chain on base that base.org users can use. All right. It's good enough. Let's see here. Comment that. And then I'm also going to put changes requested because we're asking this person to change something on the PR. This will be so like later when I come here or someone else comes in here, we can see that, oh, okay, we don't have to go into that one right now. We've requested something. It just saves time. Oops, I forgot to share my screen back. So I went in here and wrote, hey, thanks for this PR. Can you please rebase to resolve the merge conflict? And could you also share more details about what parts of Sensei are live on chain on base? Sorry about that. I forgot to share my tab. Okay. Next, we're going to keep going and finish out this page. Add ZK codex. Let's take a look here. ZK codex wallets tracker. Comprehensive wallet analysis platform that provides detailed insights across 12 Ethereum Layer 2 blockchains. Sounds good to me. Let's take a look. So see what happens when I put mine in. So, all right. I'm just kind of trying to grok what's going on here. Looks like I get some type of token because of my activity. All right. Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like it's working and whatnot. I don't have to connect my wallet or anything. It's just check in for like airdrops and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and then go in here now. Gonna double check, and we're gonna start those tests that I was talking about. Like this person actually is gonna have to fix their merge conflict. So we're not gonna run the tests right now. Earlier, if y'all weren't here, there's this thing called CI on this repo, this code repository, which stands for continuous integration. And what that does is it runs tests, unit tests, to make sure that like with this code change, does it break anything? And so that button that I pushed starts that that process to check for is this breaking anything, stuff like that. So that said, we're not going to be able to bring this change in because of the fact that there's a merge conflict here. That means that, again, this person has a outdated pull request, and that there's been a change to the file that they're trying to modify. So they need to update their pull request to be up to date with the latest change in the file. So I'm just going to say to Yusuf, I'll be like, hey there, thanks for the PR. Could you please rebase and fix the merge conflict? Yeah, that's all we can do on this one. Anyways, yeah, I think that's pretty much how I handle these kind of interactions here on the GitHub. I'll keep rolling through this like a little bit longer. I'm just going to double check and see no other questions. So I'm going to keep. Oops, I gotta stop sharing and then reshare again. It looks like Shipyard was telling me that it had a problem seeing the GitHub repo. So here we are again on GitHub. We have like a little bit more to go through. I'm going to work through it. So thanks for hanging out. This is interesting to you. Just streaming for the first time. This is a typo and corrected grammatical error. Let's see. Clarity of documentation and contributing guidelines. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. Yeah, okay, looks good to me. So we're just gonna go ahead and approve this change. And I'm gonna thank BitSex for doing this. Using my macro. And let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and they have a merge conflict too. So I'm gonna have to ask them to go ahead and fix that. Let's see here. I approved the second factor request on my phone just now for this code change. So that made this turn green. But yeah, they got to go in and fix that conflict. Could you please rebase? Yeah, well, anyways, I think I'll probably kind of stop right there. I appreciate everybody like hanging out. It looks like a bunch of people stopped by for a little bit. I think I'll try to do this a bit more. This is new for me, so apologies if at times it's a little boring or whatnot. I'm learning how to stream. I do videos sometimes, but this is different for me, like streaming what I'm working on. So thank you all that spent some time to hang out while I was doing it. And if you have any feedback or thoughts on like things I could do differently, or just in general, like curious about stuff, um, really appreciate uh, you being here. So I hope y'all have great days or nights if you're another part of the world like Asia. And cheers. Talk to y'all later.